right, everybody. I'd like to welcome y'all back to another edition of Weapon H All-in-One podcast. Today, I got my first return visitor. He's going to get a whole new update on all the things he's been doing lately since the last interview. Got a new position. Even before we get started, just welcome my man. That's fam, cuz Vince Robinson.
Thanks. I appreciate being here. Back again as the first returning interviewee.
That's right. Last time, college, you were the assistant athletic director. Now you've been promoted to the head athletic director at Clinton College. How was the transition going in from assistant to the man in charge now?
It's a little difficult just sliding over that one seat, but I embrace the challenge. Just going from the assistant as the assistant AD, things you said carried some weight, but as the AD, everything you said has weight behind it. But I've embraced it. I mean, I enjoy the 6 months I've been at Clinton College, just trying to get different things changed and putting in different policies and procedures to make to streamline our process with paperwork and the core values, the culture, and all those things at the college within the athletic department.
All right, coming in from a winning program like you were at Miles, where you guys just went down there and just tore the place up. Now you got to actually rebuild. What has that process been like so far?
It's been pretty good. I mean, in women's volleyball, we have a first-year coach. This was the second year of the women's volleyball program, and Coach Faulkner went to the national tournament in her first year.
Nice.
So she got the job 2 weeks. She got hired 2 weeks before school started. She recruited a couple of girls, took some of the student athlete that was already there, and they ended up going to the national tournament. So women's volleyball is on solid grounds. Men's basketball last year went to the national championship game, and we have 6 seniors this year, and a couple other kids who are pretty good. So we got the 1 seed for the national South Region tournament, which we're hosting that tournament. So when men's basketball is doing real well, we're expecting, them to do really well in the region tournament and also in the national tournament. You win the region, you get an automatic bid to the national tournament, which is at Grace College in Winona Park, Indiana. And then our women's basketball program struggled a little bit, so we made a change in the with the women's basketball program, and I'm actually now currently reviewing resumes for some of the resumes that were sent in for a new hire for our women's basketball program.
Nice. So one difference I see already just as being an athletic director and a coach, when you're the coach, you're just worried about your sport. But now with the AD job, now you have to really monitor all the sports. What's the difference now than just focusing on one sport? Now you have to make sure everybody is taken care of.
Yeah, when you're just focusing on one sport, it's a lot easier because you're just worried about 15 to 18 student athletes. But now as an athletic director, you're focusing on every sport. You have to make sure the coach is there, the commitment is there from the coaches, and here's student athletes, gripes and grievances if they may have them. So it's not just for men's basketball, it's women's basketball, volleyball, cheerleaders, esports, and, all the other sports. Like I've just added a couple of sports to the school as well.
Okay. Esports. Now that's an interesting one. Give me a little bit about that.
So esports is the newest, it's probably the fastest growing collegiate sport with the exception of cornhole.
Oh,
So
wow.
with esports is video games. It's all video games, whether you play on a computer or whether you play on a console. So we have an esports team. We played Morgan State one Saturday, then Tennessee State another Saturday, and then Southern University of Baton Rouge another Saturday. So you compete against other teams, other schools, and their players in esports.
Wow.
And they use what's called, I think it's called Record or Chord or something like that. I can't think of the name of it, but I watch it sometimes. I'm not a video game guy, but I watch it sometimes. I mean, it's really intense and interesting. They have actual conferences for esports.
Wow. So that's one of the things I wanted was, all right, so Is it a particular game that they play, or it's like any kind of game? Because I know maybe they play the football game, the basketball. How does that work? With
It's
certain?
it's whatever game your kid play. So
Oh,
it could be Madden, it could be Madden, it can be any of them. Fortnite. I know Fortnite's
oh
a big
wow,
one. We got
yeah.
like 3 or 4 kids who are really good in Fortnite, so they play Fortnite. They set up their own times that they're going to play. They can play 1 o'clock in the morning.
Oh wow.
Discord is the name of the
Oh,
app
the
that they use.
Discord. Okay,
Discord.
yeah, Discord. Yeah.
So they'll
okay.
send me the Discord link, and I'll be up watching. I'm not a big video game person, but just supporting them, being on, and they set everything up. It records all the stuff against your whoever your opponent is.
Oh, wow.
I mean, and they set it up according to their time. So we have some of the basketball players who are actually on esports, and when they go to basketball tournaments, they take the video game with them.
Wow.
So esports is like really, really a tremendous growing sport. On most college campuses have an esports team. You'll look at it; it'll be under. Some people put it underneath co-ed sports on their athletic website. We just have it underneath our regular sports.
Got you. Well, I'll be out about this all the time that I'm putting my foot up in my nephew's ass about playing video games all the time. Who knew? Now
We
he
get
actually gets a
scholarships.
scholarship, right?
Yeah, we get scholarships for
to play video
esports.
games. How about
Our
that?
esports team gets scholarships. So
That's pretty good.
that's something that if your kid is, and we're looking for kids.
Okay.
So we're looking for esports kids because a lot of the kids, they don't know that most of the schools have esports. So we're actively looking for, we call them gamers. We're looking for gamers to, give out some scholarship dollars to them and get them on campus.
How about that? Huh. All right, that's what's up, man. Never would imagine growing up when we played all the sports. I mean, we had video games, but we never thought it would be like this guy. Because the biggest thing I saw was when everybody was playing Madden, and then at Times Square, the championship would be on the screen at Times Square. That's about as much as I knew about it. But now, how about this? They got a whole little coach, because I see him on there all the time. They on the mics, they doing all kinds of crazy up all times of nights. But hey, I guess it pays now. I guess. Hey,
Well, one thing with esports is like NASCAR. NASCAR had an esports competition where the winner got, and it was all college students,
okay.
and the winner won $100,000. Like you can win esports, you can win a lot of money in esports. One of our kids, I think 2 years ago, ended up winning like $4,500 playing in the esports tournament, if I'm not mistaken. And I think it's $4,500 that he won 2 years ago. I wasn't there, but our esports coach Smith told me that we had a kid that won some money in the tournament. So you can win a nice little penny. I was at NASCAR. We went over there for a visit with esports, and that was the day they had the championship. And it was 4 guys. Whoever was winning was leaving there with $100,000 check.
Wow, that's dope. Can't beat that. Another interesting question. I mean, you have a background and you run your own school. You've been coaching. I mean, you've done as an AD now. When you go to the coaches and you're explaining something, have you been in a situation yet where they testing you out? They saying stuff like you don't know the sport the way you do.
Yeah, I mean that's always going to be when you're the new person on the block, and you have coaches who've already been there. They're going to push and see how far they can go. And change is always different depending on the person. So when you're putting in different policies and procedures, because I put in everything, all our coaches are doing everything. It's like we're an NCAA Division II school.
Right.
They do recruiting logs that got to be turned in actually tomorrow at the last day of every month. Your recruiting logs are due. We have official and unofficial visit forms that they must complete, give to me before that kid get on campus, because you can't wait until you get to NAI or NCA and start the paperwork. So I have them doing it now. So when we do make the transition, it's seamless. Like everyone already know how to do the paperwork. But yeah, people don't know you, so they don't know what you know until you sit them down and say, look, I've been a coach at a multitude of levels. I don't win championships at every level, so I understand, what it takes. So when you put in different policies and procedures, and they start calling around and to people, and people are like, no, that's my guy, no, he knows his stuff. Then it makes it a lot easier, when you're dealing with them. But it doesn't bother me because I understand, the process on that. When you're the new kid on the block and people have already been there as a coach, they want to see how far they can, they can push or pull before they, before you, put your foot down.
it cracks me up. You would think like you got somebody new coming in, you would do a little bit of research on them. I mean, I know that's what I would be doing. You do a little research, find out on them. But see, they also don't know that when you're out there calling them crazy behind plays, I know what's going on. I know what the offense is looking like. I know what you be doing on defense. I'm gonna let you do your thing, even if I let you strangle yourself.
Yeah.
But I do know what you're doing, so you're not going to sit up here and pull wool over my head of, oh yeah, well this is going this way, we got this player doing this and that. When I've been coaching for years, bro.
Yeah. So and I never go to practice anything like that. My office is actually in the gym, so I know who's in the gym what time because I can hear the ball bouncing, the voices and things. But I never go to their practice. Now, if they ask me something about basketball, I'll give my input. But I don't just go to their practice and be like, no, you should run it this way. Listen, ain't none of my business. Like how you do your team, what plays you call, that's on you. I'm a defensive guy, so, but I think our coaches, our men's basketball coach, he do a pretty good job. He went to, I mean, how can you knock a guy that went to the national championship game?
True.
What can I say to him?
True.
Good, the only thing I say, hey man, good job.
Right.
So he's
a little sweat off my back, something I don't have to do.
Yeah, you want all your programs winning because winning hides a lot of things that people don't know. Right. Losing exposes a lot of those things that that'll bring out a lot of those things. So, but having a winning program is attractive to the school, and I don't care what school it is. Athletics is probably going to be the biggest organization on campus.
That's going to bring in the money.
That's going to bring in the money. Like kids are going to school. You look at North Carolina. North Carolina probably get 40,000 applications just because basketball win, football win.
Right.
Those kids are going to North Carolina, in Duke for the education, but they're going in for the athletic programs and being the Cameron Indoor and all that other stuff. But the same thing at Clinton. We're trying to get a lot of kids there. Our biggest organizations on campus are athletics. Like we're the biggest organization on campus, so we're trying to get kids to come in and see all the good things that we have going on.
I also remember you saying you made some cosmetic changes as well to the school when you came in. You had to change a few things up because things weren't where you thought it would be. So, What are some of the things that you went in and changed up on since you got the job?
Yeah, well, when I first got the job, I mean, we just wanted a lot of things that were up to the standard that I like it to be honest with you. We had locker rooms, didn't have any lockers.
Oh, wow.
It was just a bunch of chairs in there, no lockers. Our women's volleyball team didn't have the sleeves in the floor where you put the poles. We didn't have that. They had like some type of apparatus that they had to put on there with like 200-pound weights on one side, 200-pound weights on the other side. Coaches were filming the game on the stage with iPads, and I'm like, no, I ain't signed up for this. So, I talked to some people, and we were able to get lockers. Okay. We're going to do the unveiling next week of the lockers. We were able to get the sleeves put into the floor to where now our volleyball team, all they got to do is stick the poles in the ground, put the net up, and they're done. And then I just got a contract with Huddle to where we can all our games were live streamed. Okay. We have kids from France, Serbia, like their parents can't come to a game. So, you want to see your kid. Send your kid to the United States, you want to see your kid. So those are just some of the changes, little things, getting an ice machine. Like they had to go to the cafeteria in order to get ice for the trainer cooler or for the water cooler. They had to go to the cafeteria to do that. So now we bought an ice machine that's been installed. Like we didn't have a place to get water. Just cleaning up the showers so that after the game, if the opposing team want to take showers, they can go upstairs and take showers. Things like that is good when you have recruits come in.
Right.
And you look at a lot of these high schools, they're playing in 2,000 and 3,000 seat, gyms at their school. So, to have them come in and we didn't have lockers and those things, it just made it, I'm like, no, we can't. Yeah, it's going to be, you're already a small, intimate campus. Right. You have to have something that the kid can look at and say, okay, this is mine. So, now when we bring recruits in who already committed or signed, we do a photo shoot with them. We had their jersey and all that stuff out, do a photo shoot with them. We put their pictures up all around campus and on the on the we got these TVs around on the monitors around campus. We'll put their pictures up, have their pictures up with what school they are at, with a volleyball picture or a basketball picture. We actually do signings on campus. Like we're able to do where a kid could come to our school and do their signing in our library. So that's one of the things that we do to make the kids feel special. Right. We'll have them come on campus with their family, and we'll have them do their signing in our library. And a lot of students, we'll have a lot of students attend that. So just trying to do different things. You know, when you're an intimate campus, you have to do things a little different than what a bigger campus do. But you know, for us, it works out with the kids that we're getting. You know, we're not going to get those 5-star kids. Those kids not coming to Clinton College. You know, so but we can go get kids who bounced around a little bit, JUCO transfer, may not be getting recruitment that they like because of the transfer portal. Right. Or those kids fall right in our lap and say, hey man, look, you can come here, make your own name. We got a couple of kids who are getting looks from overseas. Got a kid, Isaiah Stone, 16 kid. He's getting looks overseas, and we got another kid, Cam Shannon. He's the leading scorer at the school for the 4-year history of the school. I think he has over like 1,700 points. I mean, can just flat out score the ball. Wow. Can flat out score the ball. So those guys are getting looks to go overseas. So if you can play, they'll find you. It's not, if you can play, they'll find you.
Especially nowadays, because like you said, the streaming.
Yeah.
That streaming is big time, man, because you get kids from everywhere. Now it's easier for them to keep track. And now if you're keeping track with them, now your name is going out there. Now the name is more widespread, and people are going to know who Clinton College is a lot more than just having to try to find this school in the middle of South Carolina. Now you got the streaming service. Now you got to watch a game.
Absolutely.
And you get familiar with the program. So.
Yeah. So one of the things I did to increase enrollment is I started JV women's volleyball, JV men's basketball, and JV women's basketball. And, you know, in the beginning, the coach is like, no, we don't want it. It's going to tear up our budget. I'm like, it's not going to tear up your budget. I understand how to do it. So each JV program has their own budget. They have their own head coach. They have their own apparel budget. They have their own travel budget. So it has nothing to do with the varsity team budget. So I'm actually looking for head coaches for our JV programs right now. I didn't want to take a varsity assistant coach and make him the head JV coach, because what happens if there's a varsity game away, and then we on that day, but then we have a JV game at home. So now he's conflicted. He has to be there for the JV game. So I'm hiring people who are not affiliated with the head coaches, but whatever the varsity coach want him to run, that's what that coach has to run. Just in case we get down some varsity players, now we can just call the JV players right on up.
Wow.
So just trying to increase enrollment, but also give opportunities to more students. Like there's more students than there are scholarships or programs that a kid can go play at. Less than 3% of the kids who play high school basketball play basketball in college.
Right.
On any level, D1, D2, D3, NAIA, USCAA, NCCA, less than 3% of the seniors who graduate, high school seniors graduate, get an opportunity to play college basketball on any level. So creating these JV opportunities is allowing kids to come to school, continue playing their sport after high school, but also get an education. And who knows, you may get a kid that may end up, playing varsity. I tell the kids when I talk to them, hey, bet on yourself.
Right.
Bet on you. Because you're going to pay to go to college somewhere anyway. Why not pay to come to Clinton and be on a JV team?
Yeah. And then with a chance of earning that scholarship next year. So.
Absolutely, with an opportunity to earn a scholarship. It's all on how hard you work and and what you do on the court, what you do in the classroom. Right. All that stuff matters. I've added 3 varsity sports, scholarship sports, starting the fall 2024, men's and women's cross country, and then men's golf. So I'm currently looking for head coaches for those as well, because those are scholarship sports. They get an opportunity to go out, recruit, and give kids scholarships for men's and women's cross country and for men's golf. So in the fall of 2025, I'm looking to add 4 more sports, with 2 more sports, men's and women's tennis, and probably men's and women's soccer. And that'll give us 10 varsity sports along with cheerleading and esports. So just trying to expand it, even keel, where we're just not oversaturating the campus. Right. Just expand it on an even keel so that we can gradually expand it and we can accommodate the student athletes and the kids that we're bringing in.
Oh, real good. There's a lot of going back to what you were saying earlier. A lot of people don't realize is kids are just so caught up in thinking they're going to go somewhere now.
Yeah.
You don't realize how small of a percentage it is that one go from high school to college, and then for the ones that go from college to pros, I mean it gets smaller and smaller and smaller. You have millions of kids playing basketball, and you got maybe a couple of hundred spots.
Yeah.
That's in reality.
Yeah. So you're looking at when you're looking at going from college to pro, the numbers get even smaller. I think it's like less than 1%.
Yeah.
So you figure every year you're gonna 31 NBA teams, I think. Every year.
32, yeah.
Yeah. So every year, 32 people are gonna be guaranteed an NBA roster spot. So if you're the 15th man on the roster, and those first round draft pick, their spots are guaranteed.
Right. So
Their money's guaranteed, so somebody's not going to be there. So now you're looking at the second round. Well, you have another 32.
Right.
Those are not guaranteed. A lot of those kids will get two-way deals, where they'll get an NBA contract and they'll get a G League contract. 90% of them are going to be in the G League because it's just if I'm going to take you if you're going to be the 15th man on the roster, I could just send you to the G League and I pay you the NBA money and pay you the G League money. And keep this other guy as the 15th man. Right. So again, people got to understand the dynamics of business. And when you're talking about going from college to the NBA, it's a lot that factors into it. Absolutely. Height, speed, agility, who you know, what you know, all those things play a part in getting drafted. What college did you go to? If that team that's drafting at that particular spot, do they need your position? Do they need a guard or big?
Right.
Are they looking for an athletic wing? So all those key factors play into getting drafted. And it's the same way with going from high school to college. If a coach is looking for a center, well, he ain't gonna take a 5'10" point guard. Your position has to be in demand. And then what separates you from the other 400,000 or 500,000 kids who play high school basketball? And that's just high school basketball. That's not counting prep school, post-grad, junior colleges, D1, D2, D3 college transfers. Yeah. So the variables in there are tremendous when you're talking about a kid going to college or getting a college scholarship or just getting an opportunity to go to college, whether you have to pay. We both went D3.
Right.
We went D3. You had a 20-year career overseas. I know a lot of guys who went Division I and couldn't get 25 minutes overseas. So, again, it's different variables that factor into whether you're going to get a college scholarship or a pro opportunity, whether it's NBA or abroad.
And bottom line is you got to work and you got to respect what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the respect is a big thing that's lacking a lot of days. And I won't even blame it so much on the kids anymore because a lot of times it's really just the parents. Because, because we even go to that situation, I don't know if you saw with Cam Newton.
Yeah, this camp.
Man, that was insane, man.
Yeah.
That was insane to me, man. I don't care. What kind of talking, what made y'all think that, this guy doesn't even have to be there.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to come and show up and do these camps every year. And I heard it's not the first time they tried to, disrespect him, but he keeps coming back. But now it went too far. Imagine he just stops and he stops funding this.
Yeah, if he stopped funding it now, you're looking at the good kids not getting an opportunity to get wisdom imparted from a 12 to 15 year professional football player.
League MVP and
went to the Super Bowl. You know what type of wisdom he got that he can give a high school kid? So you got 2 or 3 high school knuckleheads messing it up for it looked like it was a lot of kids at that camp.
Right.
Messing it up for 100 or 200 kids who just get an opportunity just to hear him impart wisdom on what to do and what not to do, as a collegiate athlete. So, man, people tired of these kids just running around doing crazy. But we live in such a microwave society where everybody wants everything right now. Like nobody wants to work for it. If a kid is sitting on the bench and got someone who's playing in front of him who may be an all-county kid, that parent transferring that kid.
Right, and that's the thing. And that's the thing right there. Because even that fight, where I understand it, it was parents, coaches that actually started the fight. Then the kids jump in and start doing stuff. So it was like 7 people trying to. And fortunately, I don't know if they realize Cam ain't no little joker,
Yeah,
bro.
no, Cam
And
is
fortunately, he
6'6",
didn't.
250,
Unfortunately, he
260.
didn't swing at nobody. He was just holding
Yeah, he was just
everybody
holding
back,
them.
holding them, pushing
Yeah.
them off, and all that kind of stuff. I said, imagine if he just went in and started hauling off on some of y'all.
And then
Then he ready to sue.
I was about to say. Then as soon as he hit somebody, they parent ready to sue because they know he got a couple of dollars. So either way, I'm glad he kept his composure because he was in a no-win situation either way it went.
Yeah.
And it's good. Like and now when you're talking about we're talking about recruiting. That's one of the things when I was a college coach. I used to go to games and just watch the parents. Mm-hmm. If I like the kid, I'm like, yeah, I like the kid. Then I just go to the game and watch the parents. Are they yelling at the coach? Are they, to put him back in the game? If they doing all that stuff, I'd be like, man, I don't care how good this kid is. I ain't losing my job behind this kid. You get parents who I know a couple of coaches who lost their job because a parent called the president. Parent called the president because their kid wasn't playing, saying that the coach promised their kid playing time, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, nah, stay away from them kids, man.
Yeah.
Give me a lesser talented. Because at the end of the day, when you're on campus, you don't want to have to worry about your kid getting in no trouble. They finding weed in his room or he raping and robbing somebody on campus. Like, you want to go home and go to sleep at night. So I used to always look at kids. For me, it was a character thing. I don't care if you could score 40 a game. If I knew I was going to have to hold his hand through the process, I'm like, nah. Because that ain't what I'm willing to do. Right. So I know the things I'm willing to do and what I'm not willing to do. And I wasn't willing to hold nobody, hand through the process on being a college student. So I would take a lesser talented kid who had better character.
Right. And that's just even being just a human being. I mean, come on, man. We just grew up. Certain things we just didn't do.
Yeah.
We had the coaches. Even if we ain't like the coach, it was respect shown.
You had to respect them.
It was just respect shown to adults. And then your parents made you show respect to adults. Our parents went running up on coaches and doing all this stuff.
If you played, you played. If you didn't, okay,
then
cool.
what you do?
Yeah.
Why aren't you playing?
See,
that was the question. Why aren't you playing? What is it that you didn't do instead of the coach not playing him? Coach just can't give you time if the kid is not working. I never understood that. Y'all don't see what's going on in these practices. So if he's not playing them, every now and again you have favoritism. Mm-hmm. But for the vast majority of the time, it's because he's not doing the work.
It's something he's not doing. Because you're not gonna sit a kid on the bench who can help you win. As long as his character and all that other stuff is good, you're gonna play the kid. Why wouldn't you? I ain't gonna cut off my nose to spite my face, sit this kid on the bench, and he can help us win. But the difference in our era and the era today is, our parents was in their 20s when they had us. A lot of these kids now, their parents were 15, 16, they're teenagers.
Right.
So now you're talking about kids raising kids and they growing up as friends. Where, our parents like, I ain't your friend.
Nah, at all.
I ain't your friend, ain't your homie, ain't none of that stuff. I'm your parent. Right. And I brought you in this world, I'll take you out.
That was
where now you're looking at a lot of these parents who were teenage parents and they're growing up with the kid.
Right.
They're growing up with the kid. They want to hang out
with them.
Yeah.
They try all the little hoopla the kid get. They trying to get in on.
Yeah. So you don't have parents who are. A lot of the parents are just not. They're growing up with their kid, and as soon as someone shows interest in their kid and their kid have a talent, a lot of parents lose so many scholarships and even pro opportunities for kids because when you talk about giving somebody a couple of $1 million. If I'm doing background checks on them at a little small D2 HBCU, what do you think the NBA and the NFL is doing? They're probably calling the third grade teacher, asking them how was he in the third grade, because they have the resources to do a background check on somebody before I go give you $20 million. I want to do a background check on you, make sure that you ain't.
There's a contract. They got insurance.
Yeah.
They got all this money behind you. You best believe they're gonna check you out and see if you're somebody that they want to have in their organization.
Yeah. So when you see a kid drop in the NBA draft or the NFL draft, and that kid's supposed to be a top 5 pick, and they end up dropping to like the 20s. Oh yeah, somebody don't put the word out that kid is not somebody that you want on your team.
Right.
So that kid done lost millions of dollars because there's millions of dollars involved going from number 5 to number 22. Right. There's millions of dollars involved. So that kid done lost millions of dollars because it could be a character issue or it could be, anything. But, that money you can never recoup. I don't care how you do it. You can never recoup that money. Even if you get a max deal, that money still doesn't come back with the max deal.
And that's if you get the max deal. If that's something they're always going to be able to hold. Are we going to give him that money because maybe he's just holding out until he get his money, and then he goes over there. So then they'll have stipulations in the contract.
Absolutely.
So you see all kind of stuff going. Whenever you see somebody has stipulation in the contract, it's typically, like he says, a character issue.
Yeah.
It's something that went on where they're not fully trusted, so they're getting back doors in case they need to get out of that situation.
Absolutely.
So for all you parents out there that has a kid, or you want, you're promoting your kid to try to become something, stay out of the way. I mean, yes, you're going to give them advice. I mean, you're going to parent, but you can't keep going. You can't go after coaches. You can't go after administrators,
referees.
You can't do all that because it's going to be a reflection on the kid. You're hurting the kid. You think you're helping, but you're really hurting the kid. So I would like to just make sure that message is out there for all of you out there. Actually sitting here with a college coach right now, and he can tell you firsthand experience, and you heard him tell you, if he sees someone with character issues, I'm going to go for someone lesser talented, and that's not a headache, because no one wants a headache, no matter how good of a player you are. You have to be off the spectrum for someone to be dealing with that kind of nonsense.
Yeah, you got to be a pro. You got to be a pro for somebody to deal with those type of things. And, just one of the things, just think, anytime something goes down anywhere with anything, what's the first thing people do? Grab their phones and start recording.
Absolutely.
So it's going to be out there.
Yep.
It's going to be out there. You can Google a kid name, and once you Google the name, everything that's involved or attached with that kid comes up. And that's all I do. I just Google the kid name. Google the kid name, go to his Instagram, go to his social media. Because social media tells it all.
They tell everything.
Social media tells it all. I see a kid in social media with liquor and weed and throwing up gang signs, or he with a bunch of dudes and they all got red or blue on. I mean, I know what time it is. I'm like, nah, he can't.
I'm not doing that.
He can't come on my campus.
Absolutely.
And I'm not getting fired for for bringing on a kid. Ain't nobody that good for me to lose my job and not to be able to feed my family. So, again, as a coach, do we take chances on kids? Absolutely, we take chances on some kids. But by the same token, it has to be a situation where I know what I'm getting from the start, and I know mentally, okay, this is what you have to do to make sure that this kid is successful. And have I done it before? Oh, absolutely. I've done it quite a few times. But I
know the situation, though.
I know the situation.
What I'm dealing with. I know this is the issue, and this is the issue that I can work on to help him improve.
Absolutely. And, when you're an assistant coach, your head coach got to sign off on it.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, if he don't sign off on it, it's not happening. Or only way it happen if you don't tell him what it is. Now you really got a problem. You know this kid crazy, and you bring the kid on campus, and he start acting up on campus. Head coach gonna be like, "Hey, you recruited this kid. You recruited him. You didn't know this. You didn't do your homework. Right. Now you sitting there looking crazy, and he mad at you because you didn't do your homework on the kid." Right. When you could have did your homework and let somebody else recruit the kid. I got a story. There was a kid last year. I recruited this kid from Philly. Recruited him hard. And called my Philly guys. A couple of them was like, "Vince, I don't know, man. I don't know if you want that kid. His family got such and such going on." I'm like, "You sure?" I'm like, "No, somebody else told me." He was like, "Vince, I know the kid. I coached him." So I'm like, "All right, cool." So it was us and another school in the conference. And talked to the kid. And, conversation started going a little left. And I'm like, all right, cool. I'm going to back up off the kid. He ended up signing with the school in our conference. Right. 2 days before he was supposed to come to school, he broke his brother out of jail in New York. If I'm lying, I'm flying. 2 days before he was supposed to show up on campus, he broke his brother out of jail and was like a federal fugitive.
Wow.
Man,
unbelievable.
Herman, if I'm lying, I'm flying. I was in the office. I dropped to my knees and started praying. Thank you, God, for letting me make that call.
Wow.
You know what type of bad publicity we would have got?
Absolutely.
2 days before the kid was to show up on campus, he broke his brother out of jail in New York. I'm like, man, listen, you can't make this stuff up. You can't make it up. But
Yeah.
again, you have to do your due diligence and that's why it's always, life is about relationships. Being able to pick up the phone and call somebody and say, hey man, you know this kid? And they be like, yeah, I know the kid,
Yeah.
oh, he'll be a good kid for the program. Well, nah, stay away from him. He's not somebody you want in your program.
Yep.
So I'm glad, my guy told me, like, nah, Vince, you do not want that kid. Like 2 days before the kid was to show up on that other college campus, he broke his brother out of jail.
Wow. That's just not even something you even think of that will possibly even happen.
Yeah.
But we see a lot of stories in this field. I can guarantee you, people. But character is always going to play a big part with us. I mean, we want hard workers. We like talent. But bottom line, we have to be able to trust you.
Yeah. So when I recruit off. It's an acronym I use called ACT. Academic, character, talent. Your talent attracts me. I got to check your academics and then your character.
Yeah.
So if the talent is there and the academics is there and the character is not there, I'm not taking that kid.
Yeah.
No way, no how am I taking that kid. Because I don't want to chase nobody kid around campus every day. Like I got my own life that I want to live after practice. I don't want to chase your kid around campus, walking them to class like he in a 5th grade. I'm not doing that.
And at
I'm
this
definitely
point,
not doing
they're
that.
supposed to be young adults. So this is where your learning process to become an adult. I shouldn't have to keep telling you. You're gone now. You're away from home. You're officially an adult now. I'm not going to babysit all the time. I mean, sometimes I have to guide you on a few things your freshman year, but I'm not going to be there baby stepping you everywhere you have to go.
Yeah,
It's not
especially,
gonna happen.
Especially if you're a JUCO kid transfer.
Oh, if you're a JUCO
Man,
kid transfer.
You done been
there's
around
no
the block a
excuse.
few
Yeah,
times.
there's no
Like
excuse.
you know what it's hitting for. Like go to class, do your work. We know y'all gonna go out and party because like that's the college experience. What do we do when we was in college? We went to parties on different college campuses. The kids are doing the same thing, but I don't want to get a call 3:00 in the morning like, hey coach, man, we got such and such down here at the precinct. Because my first thing when I first got to Miles as a as an assistant coach, my first conversation was with security. I talked to security. Because again, you have to know the players on campus. You got to know who's to talk to on campus and who going. So I told security, I said, look, man, I said, anything that happened with our players, do not call Coach Watson. I don't care how we go down. I don't care if it's 2, 3, 4, 5 in the morning. Do not call Coach Watson. Call me. I said, if I can't handle it, then I'll reach out to him. I said, but do not call him. And, we had an incident where kids tried to get back on campus late, like 4 in the morning. They called me. I'm like, all right, I'm on the way. Went over there, got him back on campus, but woke him back up at 6 and made him run.
Right.
So again, and he never knew. Only thing I said to him was, I had to run, such and such this morning. They came back late. He was like, okay.
Yeah.
So, as an assistant coach, my thing was always to shield Coach Watson away from the BS.
Right.
What he needed to know, I made sure he knew. If it was something that I couldn't handle, an executive decision, I'm like, nah, hey, this is a decision he need to make. I would call him, hey, this is what we got going on.
Right.
But if it was something that I can handle, I handle it. And I just, in conversation, I'd be like, yeah, I had to do blah, blah, blah. He'd be like, all right, no problem. So, again, as an assistant coach, your job is to protect the head coach at all costs. He don't need to know everything that's going on. If he need to know everything that's going on, why he need you?
Right.
Right. Some things is, that you can handle as an assistant coach, dealing with the kids. So, but, you just want to make sure that you're recruiting kids, man, who got good academics, good character, and good talent.
Hey, I like that. ACT.
ACT.
Academics, character, and talent. That's really the order it pretty much goes to. So who do you want to thank?
I want to thank our president of Clinton College, Dr. McCorn. I want to thank our VP of Business Services, Ms. Ingram, and my mentor who has been godly to me, just guiding me and directing me with everything since I've gotten to, since I arrived at Clinton College, Dr. Brown. She's the VP of Student Service, my immediate supervisor, and she has helped me tremendously with just making the adjustment from a deputy AD to a athletic director. So I definitely want to thank her for all her patience, all her knowledge, wisdom, tutelage, and understanding that she's bestowed upon me in these 7 months that I've been there.
Dope. But again, I'd like to welcome my man for coming back on here, giving some great information, putting you down, getting guys and everyone to understand what it takes to be a college athlete, what it takes to be an athletic director, and the biggest thing is for the parents to just kind of understand the situation that you could possibly help or hinder your child.
Absolutely.
As far as stepping forward to the next level, as far as whether it's college, professional, or anything else. So again, like to thank you all again for joining in. Make sure to hit those subscribe buttons, hit the likes, hit those notifications so you can get updated whenever a new episode is coming out. And till next time, see you soon. Peace out.
Peace.